Our PLC client is from the S7-1200 series, which doesn't have a built-in port. We've added an XBA IMT card to it. First, we define this card in the I/O parameters. After defining it, it appears here in this section. If we click on it, a window opens where we can configure the IP settings. We set the IP address to 192.168.1.1, the subnet mask to 255.255.255.0, and we also have a gateway and a DNS server, which we configure as well. We click OK. If we right-click here and select Add Item, then choose P2P Communication, a P2P channel and a P2P block will be created for us. If we click on the P2P channel, this window opens where we need to select XGT Client because our PLC is the client. The important point here is the partner IP addresses section where we need to enter the IP of the PLC server, which is 192.168.1.2. I click here and a table opens for us. In previous tutorials, we've explained this in detail. The only point here is that we want to write something first, so I select Write. The difference from previous tutorials is that the type of data being sent is in bytes. That means over Ethernet, we can't transfer data as bits or words. It must be in bytes. Here is the data size, which asks how many bytes you want to transfer. For example, I set it to 10, meaning it will transfer 10 bytes for us. The last part, which we've explained before, has a read area and a save area. The read area is for what we read, and the save area is for what we save into it. I set the read area to MByte 200 and the save area to MByte 2200. Now, let's go into the program environment itself. Here, what we want to do is enter two numbers into the PLC client and read those same two numbers on the PLC server. For my first move, I set its input to input 1, which is of integer type, and the output of this move I set to word 100. Since we had MByte 200 here, and every 2 bytes is actually one word, I set MWord 100 here, which means I'm putting the data into MByte 100. The next one is the same. I selected MWord 101 and set its input to input 2, which is also of integer type. Now I'll load this onto our PLC client. Music. All right, now let's move on to the PLC server program. For the PLC server, we've specifically chosen a compact U-series PLC, which already comes equipped with a built-in LAN port, so there's no need to add an additional network card. What we need to do next is the settings related to the PLC itself involve an FENET module. We click on that, and through this section, we can configure the network settings. These settings are similar to those for the PLC client, with the difference being that the IP address here should be set to 192.168.1.2. In the client, the last digit was 1, but for the PLC server, we set it to 2. The other settings are the same as the client. I'll click OK on this. Another important point is that our driver should be set to XGT server mode. We need to keep that in mind as well. After that, there's no need for any other configuration. Now I'll enter the program environment itself. Here I'll use two MOV instructions. What we actually wrote on the client, we want to read on the server. If you remember, on the client, we used MByte 2200. Now, if we want to read it, since we said every 2 bytes make up one word, we need to read MWord 1100 and MWord 1101. So the inputs for my first MOV will be, we set this to out1 and set its data type to integer, and the second one to 1101 and set the data type of out2 to integer as well. Now this program I set it to monitor mode. In this mode, you can see that right now it's showing 0, meaning we haven't entered any data from the client side yet. Now, on my PLC client, I activate the monitor, and here, for example, I enter the number 55. So we see that on our PLC server, the number 55 also appeared. With this second input, for example, I enter 154, and we see that on our PLC server, 154 also appears here for us.